Try a river cruise, they said. Never done it before, so I rang Viking Cruises and we got an offer that we couldn't refuse. So join us as we join the Viking Helin in Switzerland to travel all the way through the Rhine. Our journey would see us travelling through 4 countries all the way up to Amsterdam. Our journey started at the Renaissance Hotel at London Heathrow Airport. Such a nice hotel, really light and airy. And our room, which I'd specially booked, was a runway view room, which suited Dave because it meant he could watch planes go up and down all day. The best part was having access to the lounge area, which meant we could have snacks 24 hours a day for the whole time we were there. So Dave was in his element, eating all the biscuits and all the peanuts. And then in the evening there was canapes. Then you guessed it, straight afterwards it was back to the room so that Dave could do more watching of aeroplanes before falling asleep, looking at all the lights out the window. After a good night's sleep and a good breakfast in the restaurant, we headed over to the airport. And British Airways was waiting to take us on a very short flight. It was only an hour and 10 minutes in the end to get to Basel. So heading over the skies of London, and it was a grey start, but anyway, it did end up getting better the further we flew towards Switzerland. You can see from these photos coming up, it was a clear skies as we were flying over the south coast of England, trying to spot where my parents live as we were going this way. And then as we landed in Basel, not a cloud in the sky, absolutely beautiful. When we came out of the terminal, the Viking staff were there ready to greet us and to drive us straight to the ship. And she was a beauty. The flag was flying and we were welcomed on board and our suitcases were taken for us. Having been on sea cruises before, this was all very new to us, going straight on board the ship like this. So easy to do. And then when you get on board, you're going straight into reception where we were greeted by happy smiling faces. Because we had a late flight, it was a case of just going straight to our room and having a quick touch of the bed to see how comfy that was, and it was really comfy. And a really spacious area, enough room for the suitcases under the bed. And we had a lovely balcony just where we could relax when we weren't doing excursions. Then a quick watch of the safety video and it was straight into dinner for us to meet our fellow travellers. And after the meal we were straight back to our room again because it was starting to get late and we were so excited to be actually sailing at this point. And we went down into what seemed to be the biggest lock in history. So we glided in with literally inches to spare along the side of the boat. Everyone was out on their balconies, to be honest, at this point, because it was like a highlight of the first day.
I don't know how many you have to go through. 4 tonight, actually, the work to do this is actually very small.
All the creaking and groaning as we were getting deeper and deeper inside this lock. It was quite exciting, but it really did smell down there. But soon enough we were coming out the other side. We could see some daylight at the end. Didn't want to lean out far too far because there was so much water dripping down. It was good fun, and we could see the lights coming through at the other end where we were coming into a nice little area that we were going to just glide gently into the night. At this point we decided to call it a night, to be honest, because the next day was going to be such an exciting day, going to the Black Forest, eating gâteau and having a look at the largest cuckoo clock. After a fabulous night's sleep, we were up early to be on our way for the first excursion of our trip. So I had a quick breakfast in here. This is an aquavit terrace, which became a real favourite with me to have my quiet little breakfast. Then we went outside to join our groups. Now this was a free excursion for everybody, so it was very popular. It meant going to the Black Forest. So we travelled through some lovely villages and beautiful geraniums in the windows of a lot of the houses, and the woodlands and the hills. We had such an amazing guide on this trip. She was so funny and had so many good stories to tell.
Church, don't worry about it, we're going to see it in a moment again. And it's kind of a landmark of this village. But
our trip lasted about an hour and a half before we reached our destination, which was beautiful, so we could see a lot of the scenery. Once we arrived, we were greeted by lots of goats on a hillside, and our lovely Viking guide Radim also joined us for this trip, ushering us all along so that we were in the right place at the right time to see the cuckoo clock striking. This place is obviously a tourist place, but it felt so relaxing with all the pretty flowers everywhere and the cuckoo clock. But there was also some other shops there as well. We could also watch a demonstration to see a Black Forest gatto being made, or if you wanted to, you could go and see the cuckoo clocks being made. After we finished our retail therapy, we went for a little walk further down into the village. Came across these beautiful little houses. I wonder who actually lives there. Before we knew it, it was time to head back to the buses. Look at them all lined up there waiting for us all. The seats are really comfy on these buses and felt quite luxurious. So the return journey was a little quicker, and our lovely guide gave us a great explanation of all the sights along the way.
yeah, normally it was a white stack. We have a few kids here that are a bit bored. Let's say it this way. Well known for its beer. And we actually think if beer doesn't look like beer and doesn't taste like beer, well, then you shouldn't be allowed to call it beer. So sorry for that. We have our problems with the colorful.
We even saw the Statue of Liberty's little sister.
Can you tell that she's only the little sister?
So we got back in time for lunch back on the ship, which was absolutely beautiful. Again, we sat in the aquavit terrace where it was nice and sunny. After lunch, Dave decided he was going to go for a walk around the village. I had a lovely time just sat on the balcony watching these two. In the evening, we made a decision that we were going to get up early again because we really wanted to do a boat tour of Strasbourg. So after another early breakfast, we joined with another ship's group as we were boarding a boat to take us around Strasbourg. Now we didn't know that Strasbourg was an island, so this was going to be quite an adventure for us. Again, we had another amazing guide. She actually studied here and then ended up staying in Strasbourg because she loved it so much. She was so funny, but she also looked after us so well during the day. She was waiting for us at the collection point on time and guided us safely back to the taxis at the end of the day. So we were gliding along, looking at all the famous landmarks of Strasbourg, and I apologise at this point for some of the reflections. It was just too sunny, and this seemed to be the perfect way to go around Strasbourg, to be honest, in an early morning as well. There was hardly anybody around. So many stunning buildings all the way around, and we were having to look from both sides of the boat as well. We felt quite lucky because we saw some of the tourist boats later in the day and they were packed full of people. So we were lucky that could actually walk around ours and get the best views. We even came up to a lock, so everybody was waving at us, taking our photograph, and we were told to wave back and pretend that we were film stars. At this point, we were nearing the end of the boat part of our trip, and as soon as we docked up, we headed out by foot towards the cathedral, which was going to be the highlight for us. So, quick step past the palace and up an alleyway, and as you can see, the cathedral was right at the end of the alley. So our lovely guide, she ushered us to the front door, so where we were going to go inside the cathedral. Inside there was the most amazing astrological clock, which you'll see in a moment. After our tour of the cathedral, we got given some time to have a wander around the city itself. Such great architecture all the way down the streets from the cathedral. We then met our guide, who then walked us to a taxi, and then it was back to the ship for us in time for lunch again. Such another beautiful sunny day. Dave actually went for another walk again, taking some of these great shots of video of all the boats going by. It was only day 2 and we'd already fallen in love with river cruising and thinking about where we would book our next one. So I thought I'd give you a little tour. So this is our room. By far not the smallest balcony room we've ever stayed in. Had a lovely bathroom which was big enough for the both of us, and it had some lovely products to use as well. So there was the Freya range of the body wash and all the shampoo, shower gel and body lotion, which was replenished if you used them. You've also got the decent plug sockets there. And this lovely balcony, again, not the smallest balcony we've ever had, and it was perfectly adequate for the stay that we had. So this is the atrium area. Just down those steps there is reception and the door to get in and out of the ship. Then there was a small computer area for everybody to use, and a very small library on the left hand side here. Moving forwards, you get to the lounge. This is where all the events happened in the evenings, and during the daytime people were sat there just drinking coffee all day. My favourite area of the ship though is the Aquavit Terrace. This is where I had most of my meals, and Dave joined me for evening meals there as well, and we made lots of great friends. There are 2 coffee areas on board with all these little nibbles. The oat and raisin cookies were our favourites. And then here's some of the meals. So these are the light lunches, some of the desserts and the breakfast. And this is the main dining room. And here's an example of the menu for you. All very delicious. Even accommodated Dave because he likes a good cheese plate. Moving up to the top deck. Again, one of our favourite areas just for chilling out. As you can see, we had some nice sunny weather, so this was perfect for us. I'd already earmarked that this was where I wanted to be when we were going through the Rhine Gorge as well, because it was the best place to see both sides of the ship. The next morning was actually a quiet one for us because a lot of the people on board had gone on a walking tour, which unfortunately I'm not able to join in with at the moment. But we caught up with them further on down the river, and they joined us as we made our way slowly to Rudesheim. Again, we passed loads of lovely buildings on our way to Rudesheim. And we had every intention at this point to go on the cable car at Rudesheim. As you can see it there on the right hand side. And by the time we got there, it's absolutely pouring down with rain and we couldn't do anything. We ended up staying the night in Rudesheim, ready for our trip through the prettiest part of the Rhine Gorge the next day. So there we were on the top deck waiting for the tour. So our lovely programme director, Radim, gave us a full guided tour all the way through the gorge.
They were built between 800 and 1200. Some of them were destroyed multiple times. Perfectly honest, they would not try not to pay, because in those days it's not only the fee.
So many beautiful castles all the way along. I didn't know where to look. Dave was trying his best with the video camera, me with the camera in my hand as well, taking photographs.
Ships. He is providing protection for you and your crew. If you are in a cooperative, you share it with. We will have the sky.
Have to say, the crew on board at this point were amazing. They kept coming round making sure we all had drinks. They brought round some lovely hot chocolate, which may or may not have had some alcohol inside it. It definitely did. But it kept everybody warm. As you see from the pictures there, it wasn't the sunniest of days, but we were all happy to be there, and we were really enjoying the fact that there was actually no rain at this point. So we were able to get those great shots and photographs.
Yes, thank you very much. Put the towers and get a nice view. It has a big balcony and a large windows. Will disappear in a tunnel. Pilgrim, hermit, named Saint Gore.
So as we came round the corner, Redeem told us to look out for the steamship that was just going to pass us. So one last castle before reaching our destination of Koblenz, and then there was the vineyards all the way along a gorge that was just so beautiful. So after a lovely morning sat on the top deck, we decided to head indoors and have a nice hot drink before we decided what to do in the afternoon. After lunch, we decided that we were going to go for a nice little walk through the streets of Koblenz. Some lovely little shops there. Koblenz was getting ready for a music festival, but I did manage to get a couple of pictures of the statue at the end. The next day we woke up in Cologne, and it was quite noisy thanks to these little chaps. Today was going to be a more relaxed day for us to do our own thing around Cologne. So we headed off after breakfast and decided to walk to the cathedral. Because we got up so early, we were one of the first people to go into the cathedral. We were really taken aback. I've been in a few cathedrals, but this one made me so emotional. Absolutely stunning stained glass windows, so intricate. And the architecture, look at those archways there. So that was another fantastic day just before heading off towards our destination of the Netherlands. So here we were, waking up on the very last of the full day of our tour. We glided slowly towards Kinderdijk, watching all the animals along the side of the banks of the river, and then we started to see the windmills. We made a brief stop at this charming little town just to let a few people off that were going on a cheese making tour. About half an hour later, the rest of us docked at Kinderdijk, which is a museum for working windmills, and here's how Dave got on as he went on one of the tours.
Very cheap in those days. You can see the cap of the windmill and you can see the wings. The wings went down, so the wings hit the ground by starting. How was that possible? All the people from the canal into.
So that was our last day, and we really enjoyed that cruise. Would we go again on Viking cruises? We most definitely would. The staff on board were fantastic, and looked after us very well. The food was amazing and the free itineraries were perfect for us. We could do as little as we liked or as much as we liked. So for now it's goodbye from Dave and I, but join us and like and subscribe to our channel and join us for our future adventures.